Top of the moment to you, wherever you are joining us from around the world. This is Niger Super Fans Forum. This is where we talk everything concerning African football. My name is Ashalolu Afemi. It's a loaded house. Kyle, James, Agberebi, they are both here, and they'll be breaking things down nicely for us on the show once again. So much to talk about in Africa. The under 20 FIFA World Cup is still going on in Argentina, and thank God the Flying Eagles are in the knockout phase right now. We'll be talking about that, and of course, our own Burna Boy will be performing at the final of the 2023 CAF UEFA Champions League, not CAF Champions League, UEFA Champions League. CAF pay Burna Boy's fee, I wouldn't know, but he'll be performing at the UEFA Champions League. And we'll take a trip to Ghana because today, in focus majorly will be the qualifiers for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Attention is gradually shifting into that corner right now. Remember, the Black Stars will be going to Madagascar. In that crucial tie, it could be the seal that they need to book a place in the tournament. Of course, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, with the uncertainty of who's even going to take charge of that game, they will be traveling to Sierra Leone. So we'll be looking at all of those today on the show. Once again, I welcome you. We want you to get into the conversation on everything we'll be discussing today. Please, whatever you feel, put it in the comment section right there. Let me welcome you guys. James, Kyle, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Femi. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Femi. I'm happy to be in today's edition of Niger Super Fans.
Okay, all right. So I also forgot to talk about racism. We'll be looking at that particularly on the show today. But let's get started from home here. Like they say, where charity begins. Kalde, I remember last time you were pessimistic about this under 2020 team. And you said James and I were carried away by the victory we had over Dominican Republic. But again, they showed against Italy that it wasn't a fluke.
Femi, I don't know whether my standards are a bit too high or my expectations were a bit too high, but honestly, you still want my honest opinion. I am still not convinced about it. I am still not convinced about the Flying Eagles. That's the honest truth. Yeah, they won a very impressive victory against Italy. But yeah, their performance still left you thinking, is that all they have to give? There could still be something more. Against a very, very technical side, they might not find it as easy as they were. You see, the team is built on the philosophy of run. For me, the game has gone beyond that. It is now much more tactical and tactical.
Are you saying the Italians were not tactical? We saw them beat Brazil. Brazil were one of the favorites for the tournament.
Femi, like I said, congratulations are in order to you because I see you are very happy, to Nigerians, even including myself.
No, compared to what we saw at the AFCON, it was a far cry.
The truth is, I am not carried away, Femi. Until you are consistent, until you show an element of coaching, I still insist that is very, very crucial, Femi. I'm not taking away anything from this trip, but they still leave a sad taste in the mouth that there could be something else. When you meet the roadblock, how do you break it down? Femi, all I saw in that game was 11 players running, except for the Victor L2 boy, the number 10, who showed a level of intelligence. Yeah. He showed a level of intelligence that I know that you could easily tell. They outmuscled, outpowered, outran the Italians. So at some point, you take every point you can get. So for me, it was a job well done. I hope the cumulative experience of the first two games will help them in the competition as they progress. But if you ask me, I am still not impressed. But congratulations to everybody.
Okay, James, what is your impression? They'll be playing Brazil in the final group game tomorrow, Saturday, here in Nigeria. You're already Friday. James, but what is your impression? Were you expecting that victory against Italy?
No, it came as a surprise to me because when you remember that it was this same Italian team that defeated Brazil, the 5-time winners of this competition, 3-2. And then the Flying Eagles went on to defeat them. Honestly, I didn't expect it. I wasn't expecting them to, even if it means getting a draw, because, you still stand a chance of going as one of the third best placed teams. So I believe maybe 4 points will be enough for them, but good one for them. They were able to, get the victory against Italy. But I think from the Brazil game now, it's going to be very tough because they're going to be a tactical, technical side. Just like what I already said, this is a team that loves to run. And the fact that they top the group now, all eyes will be on them. A lot of teams will prepare well for them and be able to take them out, because it's not as if one is just trying to castigate the team or bring them down. But, so that when you watch this, we all watch football and we know when a side is well drilled and well organized. Let me tell you, Femi, if by adventure Nigeria go far in this competition and Italy also go far, I tell you, if these two teams meet again, they will be surprised that the Italians will win. I'm telling you, because that's football.
God bless you. God bless you.
Take me back 2001.
You guys have pushed me to the middle now. You guys have pushed me to the middle,
I'm
right?
telling you, Golden Eaglet in 2001 in Trinidad and Tobago, Nigeria defeated France in the opening game. But when
they lost in the final.
It was 3-0.
Exactly. Let me also take you a little bit back. In 1996 at Atlanta, people tend to forget that great Brazilian team started with the loss against Japan. Against Japan, before they eventually came back to win against Nigeria and Hungary. So I see the same scenario play out now, that 3 teams will end up with 6 points. And like I said, the last game, I said we beat Dominican Republic 2-1. I wasn't too impressed, although the victory was crucial. The same Dominican Republic, Brazil wiped them 6-0 in their game. So that's why I said all of this is still in the open. And like James said last time, whatever it is you do after the first round ends in the first round. Nobody will give you credit for, we topped the group, because you're going to meet much more technical things. But like I said, let's live in the moment. Let's not take away anything from the victory. It is well deserved. We have put our place in the next round, and for that, I think we should be happy, because before this competition, I remember James saying last week that I hope we are not going to go into the Brazil game needing to win at all costs. Now we don't even need the Brazil game except for pride. We have been so battered and beaten by Brazil at this level. We need to also show them. Yeah, like my boss, Mumina Ala, will always say, he said, whenever you play Brazil at any level and you beat them, even if it is 0-0, it is major victory. It is a major victory. We should celebrate. So we are going to celebrate if we beat them. And so that's what I want us to focus on. Let's not say what could have been and what should have been, because that will be taken away from the joy of the moment.
Okay, guys, but you know what? Ladam also said the criticism his players and himself received at the AFCON was what motivated them to go back and put in more effort.
I mean, you should tell us that when he wins the trophy.
I hope this will motivate him the more to be Brazil and even go ahead to win the competition. Nothing is impossible anyway. Okay, guys, let's talk about racism. Before then, like I mentioned earlier, our own Bonner boy, Damini Ebonluwa, will be playing Ugulu, will be performing at the 2023 UEFA Champions League final in Turkey on June 10. Okay, guys, let's talk about racism. Of course, Kayode, I know you've traveled a lot. You've traveled. You're currently outside the shores of Africa. I would like you to share maybe one or two experiences, because in the course of preparing for this program, a friend of mine in Australia, he also lamented a number of times that he suffered racist abuse. And the Vinicius Junior issue has brought a whole lot into a perspective. FIFA are currently planning a 3-way method to stop this. But again, people are accusing FIFA that they've watched this monster fester all this while. We've seen FIFA develop other aspects of the game, but they've allowed this monster to fester because it doesn't affect white players majorly. Let's talk about the Kayode. What do you think FIFA should do at this point?
I'm going to say something that I don't know whether it will shock you, whether it will just confirm your bias or whatever. But you see, sometimes racism is so subliminal, it's so cultural that some of these racists don't even think what they are doing is evil, because it's just part of them. Some do it out of mischief. Some are like, it's just a shock, a cultural shock for them. I remember when I was in Russia some years ago, a guy met me. He was from Georgia, and he told me he was 32 years old, but he had never seen a black man all his life. He had never seen one. He had never seen. So he kept looking at me. He kept looking, he was forced at the point to overcome his curiosity. He crossed over to my side of the street and was like, he's sorry. He said in very battered English anyway, that he wanted to take pictures with me. At the point when he was so overly excited, he had to use Google Translate. He was speaking into his phone. Google was translating what he was saying to me, and I was also replying to him. He was like, "Can you take pictures?" And he was sending those pictures to his family back home in Georgia. Immediately, we were standing there. So some are good natured, some are outrightly stupid. Excuse my French. And I was also a target. I think I wrote about this, that at 2 a.m. in the morning, I went out to the store to get some stuff. And somebody felt, I went with a friend of mine, a Russian, we're together.
But you should be sleeping. You should be sleeping at that time.
No, 2 a.m. is just like 7 a.m. in Nigeria or in major parts of Africa. We went to the store to get some at the food court. I wanted to pay for what we had bought, but I was holding some stuff in my hand because I wasn't going to pay for the bag that was supposed to have contained what we so I had my hands full. I transferred what I was holding to my friend in order to reach for my wallet. And this guy on the other side of the aisle was saying in Russian loudly that why should my friend be waiting on me like a slave, that I should be the one waiting on him. Of course, he said it in Russian. Every other person in the store heard him. I asked my friend, "What did he say?" He said, "I shouldn't bother."
Your friend is white.
Yes, he's Russian. He said I shouldn't bother until we got back to the apartment. When and I told him that this was what he said. So you should have told me there and then. Let me rearrange his face for him. He said, "No, I don't need that. We might probably end up in the police station. And then what will I say? Because I do not speak the language." So Femi, see, the truth is, FIFA has been so caught up in this racism thing that it is now very, very difficult to overcome it. I do not believe that stopping the game alone will matter. Once it has been identified that a section of the fans of this club or this team is doing the racism chant, stop the game, award the points to the other team, and do a points reduction. Femi, nothing hurts a team more than points reduction. I've always said asking them to pay fine is not the solution. Tell them you are deducting 3 points, 6 points, and see whether they will look at. Let me use the Nigerian league for example. How many instances of crowd violence did you see in the last season? Because violence and everything in the Nigerian league. I've always told you, in particular, Femi, that most of these things are instigated by club officials themselves. But when they don't know that you are going to deduct, Femi, there's no other league in the world where I think points are very, very difficult to come like the Nigerian league. So when they deduct 3 points from your total, it could be the difference between whether you survive or you go down.
That was what relegated Kano Pillars last season.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And Kano Pillars of all teams, you know Kano Pillars and their reputation. If they could go down, you know what it is. So where you see elements of racism like that, do not just ask the players not to go off. I have seen instances where a player went off because of racist chants and it was actually penalized. That is wrong. The moment you have established that this is racism, just stop the game there and then. Whether his teammates walk up with him or not, just stop the game and make sure that the points are ordered to the other team. It's as simple as that. Points hurt teams than fines. They could pay $2 million fine, but they are not able to retract the 3 points, the 6 points, the 10 points that you did. Go hard on them. And nobody does this worse than the Italians. The Italians they are like, no matter what, even you see your club fans,
the masters of this.
Your club fans, the club that you play for every week, they still chant racism against you. So that's why I said it is sometimes cultural. Some of these people don't even see the evil in what they do. But I must tell you, Femi, it is racism. It is evil. Racism is evil.
Okay. James, let's talk about this. Vinicius Junior, of course, is Brazilian, but he has is African descent. Now, we've seen a couple of other Brazilians. I remember Daniel Alves was thrown a banana, and instead of reacting, he took it, ate it, and threw away the remaining. Now, what some people are proposing is that instead of the victim now, the player who has received racist abuse should walk up the pitch, the entire team his entire teammate should walk off the pitch. James, do you think that will be acceptable even when the officials hasn't ordered that?
We just said we've seen such in the past, and at the end of the day, to what end? We won't be surprised now that by the time you walk off now, the whole team will now be penalized for walking off. But the referee didn't give them that. The referee didn't instruct them to walk off the pitch. So it's like whichever way is the person that is abused that is still the loser. So for me, I think FIFA, the governing body, they are not ready to tackle this issue. I don't know, maybe because there are a lot of big teams involved. You talk of Italy, also in Spain. These are countries that I know that even in some eastern part of Europe, these are teams that
it's not common in England.
Sorry to butt in.
In England.
This is it.
In England, but
it's not common. But it's not common.
Everywhere. It's just more concealed in some places than others.
Yeah, but the good
you go.
In England, but at least they always these attempts to fight it. They try to fish out
they try to take that they are better than others, but they are also
yeah, we know. So for me, I think the football governing body, they have a lot of work to do. Just like what I already said, deduct points. By the time you play games and they now deduct points from what you've been able to accumulate. I know that it will hit hard, but I mean, I just feel the football governing body, they are not ready to tackle it. I don't know, maybe I think it's gone political now, or I don't even know how to describe it. So they maybe because of the big teams are involved, they don't want to step on toes. I remember when Cameroon, we all wore that one-piece suit in 2004 AFCON. You saw the way FIFA, the speed in which they came out to threaten them with point deduction before they know how to discard that. So, I mean, it just goes to show that they choose who to come hard on and who to, just because they say, you see them coming out with banners, stop racism. At the end of the day, you still see the same issue. You see they do campaigns, all that have not done anything. So for me, they are not ready to tackle it until they sit down and say, this monster, they're going to tackle it. They're going to go hard against the big teams. Step on toes. I'm telling you, Femi, this Vinicius Junior zone is going to be another. We are going to see another one. I'm telling you, as long as those in charge of football are not ready to tackle it head on, Femi, we are going to continue to see this. It's not going anytime soon. I'm telling you.
Okay, all right. I think it's nice to mention the fact that the officials in the VAR in that Valencia Real Madrid game, and also the central referee have been sacked from La Liga because it seems that it was an agenda against Vinicius Junior, because the VAR officials, they saw at the point where Valencia referee put his hands on Vinicius' neck, and rather it was one who was red carded. So I think it is important to know that. So it seems it is not just even about the fans. I think the officials too, they are not exonerated from this. Guys, because of time, let's move to the 2023 AFCON qualifiers. Of course, in a couple of weeks now, we'll be seeing players from gathering now to represent their country for Ghana versus Madagascar. Ghana will be going away. Mauritius referee, I'm talking about Patrice Milaza. He has been, of course, appointed by CAF to officiate that game. But Kayode, let's look at the pressure now. I think it is more on Chris Hughton after Dr. Cote came out to say that the football fans in Ghana should expect a big trophy soon. But I think it's going to be a tricky tie. We've seen what Madagascar over the past year, Madagascar football has really risen. I remember in a couple of years ago in the AFCON, they defeated Nigeria. James, if my memory serves me right,
2-0 in Egypt.
Yeah. So and of course, 2019, right? So how do you think Chris Hughton should approach this game? Kyle, they currently have 8 points. Winning this game will probably secure the passage to Cote d'Ivoire. But how do you think he should approach this game?
Femi, it is a difficult but very, very possible task going to Madagascar to take points. I consider the two teams the rising powers of African football are Madagascar and Cape Verde. Those two teams are very, very difficult to defeat on a good day. So, and the weather conditions in Madagascar, because they are an island, Indian island ocean team, like way down the southern part of Africa, could be a determinant sometimes. But the good thing is, Chris Hughton is not new to the Ghana team. He was part of the immediate engagements at the World Cup and everything, even though he was in a rather advisory capacity. Is it a game that Ghana can win? Yes, of course, anybody can beat anybody. What are their chances of winning this game? Femi, I would say it's 65%. And that for me is a good grade.
For Ghana?
Yeah, it is.
Don't forget, Kyle, understand it. Don't forget that Madagascar, they are just 1 point. 7 points, 1 point behind the Black Stars. And they are hosting the Black Stars.
The easiest way to lose that game is to think, oh, we are Ghana. We are the Black Stars. They are Madagascars. They are a small team. Yeah, I am of the opinion that they are still small teams. But like I said, Madagascar on their home turf could be a little bit tricky. But that's why I said it is a possible thing. I would say between 65 and 70%, it is possible to win that game. Ghana have a crop of players now that, like I said, they are on a momentum. They know that it will be like a downer if after what they did at the World Cup. For me, what they did at the World Cup was relatively successful. If they now come back and fail to qualify for the AFCON. So if you ask me, Femi, I will say it. If I have to close my eyes and pick a team between the two, I will pick Ghana to beat Madagascar. But is it going to be easy? No, not at all.
Okay. James, we do not even know what's going to happen with your Super Eagles, but we're expecting that Jose Pesel will still be in charge, bearing that his contract ends in June. You are taking a trip to Sierra Leone, but with what we saw Guinea-Bissau came to Nigeria to do, James, any confidence in the Super Eagles?
Femi, the Super Eagles for some time now, they're not the kind of team that gives you that confidence. Sometimes they just heck out result and you just take it like that. The Guinea-Bissau after you just take whatever they give you now. Because for me, I'm telling you, Femi, the crop of Super Eagles that we have now, that's why we keep going back to the 90s Super Eagles. I mean, they have this current crop. They don't give you that confidence when anytime they go into games. Imagine losing to Guinea-Bissau right here in Nigeria before they now manage to get to victory away. So and imagine how many of our players who are fighting relegation now. Onuachu and Aribo, they will be playing the relegation. That's if they eventually move. That I don't know. So and Kelechi Iheanacho and Wilfred Ndidi, they're also battling relegation. They might get relegated this weekend too. So
it's already relegated in Italy.
Relegated. So I don't know the kind of mindset, the kind of player that will turn up for that game and then give their all. So for me, I'm confident that the Super Eagles will eventually qualify, because even if they don't get the victory against Sierra Leone, I think they should be able to finish off the job against Sao Tome, because the last time they played against Sao Tome, it was 10-0. So that's just it. My expectation is not that high about the team, but I still have that confidence that despite the fact that they don't really give us much joy anytime they play, but that they still do well enough to qualify. So I'm not too bothered about qualification, because I believe that they're going to qualify. But after that, what next? That would be the next question.
Okay, guys, because of time, let's talk about Dr. Cote. He has a few months left. I think 5 months of his 4-year tenure. The first term, he's seeking second term in office. And in a recent interview, very elaborate interview, he talked of the fact that Ghana football has raked in so much money under him. Now, Ghana is talking about building a new state-of-the-art stadium, like the one we saw Senegal did a few years ago. Kayode, there's also been issues of corruption. I remember James and I talked about the fact that an artificial turf was renovated in Ghana, and the cost became almost a national opera because of how much the presidency of that country quoted it cost. Kayode. Now, let's talk about trust. This Dr. Koto, I don't know, how would you assess his presidency, Ghana football, the progression under him? and also dealing with issue of corruption, because after the World Cup, they said there's some money was shared by the officials. That is how we do our things right here in this climb. But very quickly, under 2 minutes, how
Femi,
would you assess
let me
Dr.
say this. It would be wrong, and this is where I fault Okraku. It would be wrong when you measure the success of your tenure by how much money you made for the FA. That was the same mistake the former NFF president, what's his name? Amaju Pinnick was making when he was telling us that the NFF will be 97%
self-independent,
self-funding, there will be 99% self-funding. That is not how to measure success, Femi. How many building blocks have you put in place for long-term development? What is the football development policy of your administration? How do you intend to, where do you see Ghana football in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years time? All of the countries that you see succeeding now, Femi, they didn't just get here overnight, because they had a long-term vision with immediate short-term plans for to harvest low-hanging fruit.
That's
where you know how much you have impacted. And secondly, I am not in support of building any mega stadium. Any stadium that is not, you know me, Femi, any stadium that is not generating enough funds to finance it, one, then to maintain it, two, is a big problem. Ghana and indeed
no African country can do that.
None.
Yeah. So
none.
We should talk, but because of that, we should own facilities.
No, facilities. We have facilities. It is the maintenance that is the problem. Femi, don't forget, Ghana renovated some stadia a few years ago. Could still be put in place. Femi, I go around stadium, I go around sports facilities in the outside Africa, and I see they will tell you this has been on for 70 years, 90 years, 103 years, and I will look like, are you kidding me? Femi, it is the maintenance culture in Africa that is the problem. I bet you, if you build 1,000 stadia in Africa, especially in Nigeria and Ghana, let's focus on those two. Go back and check it in 5 years' time. The Abuja Stadium is about 20 years old. I was at the commission in 2003, Femi. What we have not used 10% of the facilities are available in that stadium. But see what it is today. See what it is today. So it is about maintaining what we have. Splashing money. Okay, the about $40 billion that Senegal put in building their stadium. What is the recovery plan? How do they expect to recover that money? Or it is, Femi, it is beyond the social service now. When you see people putting money into facilities, it is because they know that they are going to they are going to recoup their investment. We should start thinking about football and sports as an industry, a revenue-generating industry, not just a big black hole that we put money inside every time.
Okay, all right. Sorry, for the sake of time, quickly, we have to talk about the Ghana Premier League because it's at the crucial stage now. Week 32, just after this week, we'll have 2 more weeks, then we'll have the winner of the 2022-2023 Premier League. So quickly, we have Medema, they will be hosting King Faisal Medema, they are the new table toppers. We have Edwana Stars, they'll be hosting Dreams, Ashanti Kotoko, they'll be hosting Karela, then Heart of Hope will be traveling to face Legon Cities, then Red Tamale, I deliberately, because of Kennedy, because I just picked a few fixtures, they will be hosting Berkham United. I don't even know where I'm still looking for them on the table. I can't find out to you. Okay, but James, quickly before I go, I'd like to talk on this. Medema, they'll be playing at home. Edona will also be playing at home. What are you expecting this weekend, James?
I expect Edwana to bounce back. I want to believe the last defeat was just a blip, because I still want them to win the title. I don't want them to do an Arsenal on us, because they've come a long way. I mean, all better this season by, other than winning the league. I mean, it wouldn't be a nice this thing for them. But this time, it's as if the Hearts of Oak or Accra are the ones who are Hearts of Oak or
but Medema, James, but Medema, their financiers have promised them $2 million if they win the Ghana Premier League. So
okay, so for me, I just hope that they don't do an Arsenal or not, like I said, and hopefully they're going to win the league, and we have a new winner, and from there we're able to celebrate.
Okay. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Kayode, thank you for joining us on the show today. James Agrebi, also thank you so much for always coming through. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure, Femi.
Okay, to our fans around the world, we appreciate you so much for sticking with Nigeria Super Fans Forum. Like you said, we want you to get into the conversation. Please indicate that in the comment section. What do you think about issue of particularly racism? And of course, the 2023 AFCON qualifiers resumes in like 2 weeks' time now. We'll see players gathering to represent their national team. This is where we'll be drawing the curtain on today's episode of Nigeria Super Fans. So of course, we'll see you on Monday to look at other issues regarding football on the continent. I remain Ashalolu Afemi. We'll catch you all. Bye for now.